Discipline. So let's talk about this difficult and interesting subject for a moment. I consider myself relatively disciplined. I have a schedule that most probably people would find quite unappealing. I have a job. I like my job. And I have no problem with getting up at 5:30, even before my job, and doing language learning. Of course, my schedule changes from time to time, so whenever I have the time before my job and of course after my job, I learn languages. I learn them also on the weekends. So even though during the weekends I get up at 5, 5:30. 6 o'clock is already quite late for me. I also do running. I like jogging, weightlifting. I read 1 or 2 books per month. And in the past, I've done things that were even a bit wackier, I guess. I was in a group where the weekly schedule looked something like this. You had to run for 19 miles. You had to read one, you had to read up to 2 books per month. You had to write your diary every day. And you had to do a mountain hike of some sort with your group once or twice per month. It was relatively easy for me. The only thing that I had to do was go to my job, and to think that there were lots of people there that were married and had kids and had the same schedule, well, that's even crazier. I also did some wacky things during the times of my university, like going to two universities at once. I finished the final year of one university and the first year of my second university, all at the same time. It was very stressful. It was horrible in certain ways, but I succeeded. So I consider myself, yes, relatively disciplined, but it was not always like that. There was a time when I was more mixed up and could not bring myself together to do many of those things. So I can say I've walked a long path from being quite, well, lost in a way to being more, to getting my act back together. So I guess I can say I walked the path of which Jordan Peterson speaks so often of cleaning your room and cleaning then everything else and cleaning up your life altogether. I've walked a certain mile of that path. And my experience with discipline is that it is a hard thing. It is not just something that you decide to do, let's say for the purpose of losing weight, or maybe, I don't know, learning a language for a while. It is much more than that. If you want to lose weight and learn a language, of course, maybe just deciding to I will now be disciplined, maybe it will help you. But I would say that it is less likely that you will succeed if you don't think of discipline as something wholesome. And with wholesome, of course, I mean as well as a thing of the mind, and as well as a thing of the body. With this, of course, I mean that discipline comes from a combination of both. Discipline comes from getting in order your mind as well as your body, getting physical exercise, thinking about what you eat, what you should not eat, thinking about when to go to bed instead of rummaging through the internet until 12 or 1 in the morning. I've been there, so I know it. And of course, as well as thinking about your own mind, your own, well, sense of being, your own personality, your issues. And in this sense, of course, it is also very good if you do something about this. I don't know, reading books about psychology, maybe self-help. If that is your thing, going to a psychologist, or I don't know, maybe doing mindfulness meditation, Christian prayers, if that is your thing, meditation, doing both things, so to speak, getting your mind as well as your body in order. I consider both to be like a wheel, a part of a wheel. They both run one another. When one starts turning, the other will start turning too. They both work together to bring you this desired effect of whatever your goal is that you need discipline for. Basically, you need to transform, to start, to jumpstart, and to start thinking about your own whole life, wholesome in a wholesome way, if you want this transformation or whatever you desire. It is indeed difficult. Everything is connected in this way. You may think of losing weight again or doing the learning a language, but I would suggest you that to do this, you should at first really start looking at everything, your wholesome life, your own issues about what you think you need, you should be doing. Are there issues maybe with your parents that are not resolved? Are you maybe angry, depressed, or have some other problems that you know that you should resolve, but you have been letting off for a long time? You should do it. You should try to clear it up, whatever it is. It will all help you in the long process. It will all it will all come together if you start, if you decide to start turning this wheel of your own self-transformation, of your own personal development, growth, if you want to call it like that. And in the end, of course, if you manage to do it, if you manage to decide that you will take on this burden of the world and not be a victim of it anymore, that you will not blame others for all the things around you, but that you will decide, I will do this, I will do running, I will do sprinting, I will do climbing, I will do thinking and reading and examining my own thoughts, feelings, despite the fact that maybe there's a president out there that I don't like, or maybe there's a disease, a virus around us that locked the people inside their own houses, and I don't know what I can do. If you decide that you will not be a victim of all of this and try to make out something out of your life despite all of the difficulties and maybe really bad circumstances, if you decide not to be a victim, but that you will take your own life in your own hands and try to transform it, shape it into whatever you want, despite the difficulties and circumstances outside your control, well, then you are on a good path to doing, getting what you want, and also making that magical transformation that psychologists like Peterson speak so much about. I wish you good luck on your personal path, whatever it may be, and thank you for listening to this video.